What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I think it's almost 7 o'clock. It's been raining mostly all morning. At least want to try to get some outside time in before the weather gets ugly again or what have you. July 15th, today marks the second anniversary of my father's passing. And it's hard, man. For me, it doesn't seem, and I don't think it will get easier with time because I'd never had that closure. Me and my mother, we will never get that closure. We will never be able to fully put my father to rest. Me and my mom, we don't have any of my father's ashes. At the time when my father passed a year ago, 2 years ago now, I should say because it is 2 years, we had no money, you know. My father had a good job, mom had an okay job, but when you're so much in debt and it got to the point where we stopped paying on the two vehicles and the house, we were on borrowed time, and we didn't know when the repo trucks were coming to take the cars. We don't know when the sheriff's office or the sheriff from the sheriff's office would have came to the house and served us our papers because we no longer could, pay for the house. And we were waiting, we were on borrowed time. It just got so badly expensive because we couldn't afford it no more. And the week of 3 days and 2 nights that my father was in hospice, he was diagnosed and he passed away from pancreatic cancer that is caused through, oh God, it can be caused through multiple things from what I found out. He used to work, he served in the military for 8 years, especially around chemicals. He worked at a phosphate chemical plant for 25 years. And those things can cause it. I do know he was diabetic and he was taking insulin shots every day. And the company that produces those insulin needles, they have a history of people getting cancer and dying from that stuff, and I do also know cancer runs in his family, so genetics as well. So there's so many different angles from, how my father got that way to, in the end, he passed from it. The treatments from chemo to radiation weren't helping him, at all. And I used to go to with his treatments for him every week. I want to say one was Monday, and then it would be Monday and Wednesdays. Monday and Wednesdays, if I remember correctly. And those, again, 3 days and 2 nights were the worst days of my life because his cancer spread it to his lungs within a matter of seconds. And within I don't even know how to properly say what I want to say here. Within a day's time, right? Let's say 35 hours, his cancer spread it to his brain that fast. Him not knowing who me and mom were anymore that second day, and how it took over his body and control, it was heartbreaking. He the things he was saying, and this, it was heartbreaking. And I believe what my father, from half of that, what he was going through, things he was saying, I believe, even till this day, I believe we go through judgment as we're passing, not after we're passing. My father said, I see the devil face After that, within a couple of minutes later, he kept asking, why are all these people in here with cameras? Why are all these flashing lights going on? Those flashing lights that he was seeing were angels. And I believe we go through judgment as we're passing, not after we're passing. But during into our passing as humans, I do believe we go through our judgment like that. And me seeing that firsthand, like that, up close and personal, tells me we go through judgment to get into the gates of heaven during in our passing, not after our passing. Because after he took his last breath, the clouds in the sky got so fucking bright. And that's how I know he made it into heaven. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know he made it into heaven. One of the parts that hurt me, I would say on the second night, maybe the third, no, it was the second night going into the third day, he kind of remembered who I was. He said, Chaz, help me up, I need to use the bathroom. I said to him, because the cancer spread it to his whole body throughout hospice, man, and he couldn't use his legs no more. His legs were practically dead. So I cried, and I barely had the fucking heart to tell him, but I did. I said to him as I was crying, you can't move. You're in hospice. Your legs, they're gone. They don't work. And he said to me, I know, but I'm not scared. But a tear came down his face because he wasn't ready to go. You know, he wasn't ready to pass, but he knew he had to pass because the money that he left behind is what saved me and Mom and saved the house. You know, this final time 2 years ago. And the day that he passed, we didn't leave that hospital till 7 o'clock at night because we wanted to make sure the mortgage people would come, people who pick up the bodies. Me and Mom sitting in the cafeteria one last time trying to eat. We're thinking, we didn't say nothing to each other, but we're thinking the same thing. We don't know if the car is still parked out in the parking lot. We don't know if there's a padlock on the house. No more than a couple of days later, a check came in the mail, paid off that house, boom, paid off the cars, boom. Because my father's passing is what saved that, is what granted us finances today. And I'll be fucking damned if I let the laziness of my sister and her fucking family, with them not want to contribute since they're staying with me and Mom, I'll be fucking damned if I lose that house, if me and Mom lose that house. Because I refuse to fucking give up that house or to sign it over to them. Yes, they're causing more money and damages that is getting costly, and it's not their money coming out of their pocket at the end of it to put money back into the house and get repairs to be fixed up. It's not their money, it's my money. You know, it's not their money keeping the fucking lights on, trying to keep food in the fridge. It's me and Mom's money. They're not contributing, they're not helping. So come the end of September, because I know they're gonna have an excuse. That's what they are. They're full of fucking excuses. Well, guess what? That's when I'm gonna put my foot down, because I held it in for almost 2.5 years with them. Come September, guess what? I'm putting my fucking foot down, letting them have it, letting them know what's up. And saying, hey, I don't give a shit, you ain't got money. You gotta go anyways. You don't go, I'll have the authorities come and have you escorted off the property for trespassing. Yeah. My father didn't fucking die in vain just for you to try to take the fucking house like you want and fucking wreck it and bullshit. No, we barely got to enjoy the repairs that we had done. And I'm gonna let it be known, because me and Mom say it, We regret having him there. It's a fucking mistake. And I'm going to let that be known because I know what's going to happen in September. I know what I'm going to have to do. And I'm going to let you know you don't fucking like it. You can get out of my damn life. They need you then, don't need you now. And like you were involved anyways. And I'm not saying that just out of anger. Like I'm saying that because it's the truth. My sister, her family were never part of me and mom's life. For years, they weren't. You know, which leads back to this, you know, me and my mom will never get closure. We'll never be able to put my father to rest because his family took that from me and mom. They're just mad because I called them out on their shit and a post dedicated but stated to my father about that. And they're like, no, we invited you. I can take you there to the spot personally myself if you come back up to Montana again with fucking what? With fucking what? You know, with what? Because they made sure me and mom didn't get none of my father's ashes. So the event that they're talking about is when my grandpa passed a year ago and they had a celebration of life and spreading his ashes. They wanted us up there for his thing, for his final place of rest, right? It had nothing to do with my father. Nothing to do with my father. But come to find out, they done that shit a month or 2 months ahead of time behind me and mom's back. They didn't want us there. They didn't want us there. They didn't invite us for that. So I have to live with that burden, that heartbreak, knowing that I'll never get that final goodbye, being able to, again, put my father to rest, to get closure. Me and my mom won't be able to, and I'm taking her burden and I'm carrying it on my shoulders for her, for both of us. My burden as well. My burden as well. It's not easy. It's fucking hard. You know what I'm saying? Being able not to get that fucking sucks. And I gotta make sure I have money at the end of, so when mom passes, I'm able to pay for her cremation. My sister's not gonna do it. She'd rather put drugs first in her life than anything else. Hell, that's why her kids are so fucked up. That's why her marriage, her life is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to have her do it. I'm not going to have my dad's side of the family do it. Because if that happens, they're going to do the same fucking shit. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to fucking happen. You know, what they tried to do before is the same shit. They got a hold of something with my dad's information. And what they did, what they tried to do, they tried to get any money that would come in after his passing as a cease and desist order to freeze the accounts and to try to get me and mom's name took off of any money, like life policy money, plus his disability that he got accepted for once he passed from cancer. And they wanted to get their names on those checks. So once that failed, they tried to do some bullshit report or statement to try to get the bank to get me and mom out of the house with law enforcement so they could take the house from us, which didn't work. And the same thing when it came to the cars. They tried to get a hold of the car dealership and try to make up a bullshit thing. Even when it came to the VA, they thought, oh, we can get a hold of his VA money. Me and mom didn't get that money because we had to actually give that up for taxes when we had to claim it. So yeah, but once they failed with that, they said, oh, well, let us get a hold of Chaz's stuff. Let's freeze his account. Let's make sure he doesn't get paid. So they tried to claim my disability. They tried to take claim of me and my money, which caused me not to get paid for like 4 to 5 months because of that, you know. Then they tried to get a hold of mom's life policy information and try to change that up to their names. You know, my father knew what they would do once he passed, so he put a lot of safety precautions and and security per se in place to where he sent a warning out to these companies, let them know, hey, if these people try to get a hold of you, this is what they'll do. I want to set like a lock or some type of safety mechanism, so that way my wife and child don't lose anything because of his family. And they understood, and the VA helped my father set that up as well, and got an even more secure lock per se, on those type of things that ended up happening. And they didn't get far, and they got in trouble for trying to do that. They got in serious fucking trouble. So that's why they did what they did out of spite, because they didn't get what they wanted. They didn't get what they wanted, which was money and the house and the cars, and have me and mom out on the streets. Actually, they tried to get mom locked up and have me put in special needs facility of foster care, believe it or not. Yeah. So because that failed on their part, that's why they did what they did. And when it came to, oh, well, you're not going to get none of Kevin's ashes, which is my father's name, and we're going to do this by spreading his ashes behind your guys' back and not inviting you, but we want you guys to come to, their dad's, celebration of life when he passed, what I'm saying, which was a year ago, and try to make up some bullshit, what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but if I'm to go up there and you were to take me there just so I can get closure, it's not gonna fucking work. I'm not gonna be able to get closure. I'm not gonna be able to put my father to rest, because you fucking made sure that me and mom never got none of me and my father's ashes. So today's just not a good day. It's very emotional, but I know where I'm coming from. I'm doing the right thing every day as much as I can to make sure things are paid, and that I make sure I have mom took care of. And it doesn't get easy, you know what I'm saying? And carrying burdens on your shoulder fucking hurts, man. It's emotionally pain that sometimes you can even feel it physically, and it hurts. You can even feel that shit physically, But to take that from a man, from your brother's child, from your brother's wife, all because your brother married a woman of color and had a mixed child, gives you the fucking right to take that from him? That gives you no fucking right. It's like with my uncle. He's been deceased now for a month or so. They ended up paying for his cremation, right? As far as I'm concerned, from what I know, his wife, my aunt, his 2 kids who were adults, did not receive his ashes at all. And they're not going to be able to get any closure. They're not going to be able to put him to rest to be able to spread his ashes. That's going to be took away from him as well. It is. And I'm not fucking retarded. I'm not stupid. I know what's going to happen. I know what's happening. That's what my side of the family, that's what my father's family does. They do shit like that to people, man. But you know what? In the end, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. If you reap what you sow, and you answer for things that you do in life, but you answer for it spiritually when it comes time for Judgment Day, when you have to stand there in front of God and Satan, and when they ask you, why did you do these things? Guess what? You're going to have to answer out of that. And it's going to lead more towards a punishment of your soul being in hell for damnation. You reap what you sow. For me, I reaped what I sowed, what I did in my life as I'm living, answered for my sins. I paid it back tenfold plus. I had my trials and tribulations. And I know that I'll be good once I pass. I'll be able to reunite with my father again. I know I will. And by the time I pass, ain't none of them gonna be around or alive to try to fuck over anybody who I may end up with and marrying. No, no. You know, things like this, it hurts. Because having two fucked up families, man, in the end, when it's just greed because all they want to do is take and bully people around, I'm sorry, but there's no need for that. And that's one thing that my sister wants. You know, they don't want to leave because they want mom to sign over the house and surrender it to them. You know what I'm saying? Since that's not happening, my sister's gonna stay as long as she can to milk shit until mom's passed, because my sister wants that house. I know what she wants. My sister said it so many times before. You know, when mom passes, me and Dan are gonna get this house, and I don't need you here when that happens. The kids are gonna be staying here. Really? You know, and it's gonna cost money. It's gonna cost a total, I would say, $5,000 for certain things to get done next year in the month of April. Now, it costs around $3,000 to $4,000 to have a lawyer sign off and make a will for a family member, and to get that will secured and sealed so nobody can interfere with it. Just like it also cost up to a good $1,000 plus for a lawyer to put a case together and to get you approved and filed for a certificate of authenticity of a deed to a house, and to also have somebody's name put on there who you want the house to really be left to, and have that done. And that totals up to $5,000 even, which I'm paying for, you know, especially if you want 2 copies. So yes, I want 2 copies to the updated deed to the house for that when that happens, along with helping mom get a will made out, signed, secured, and sealed. That way nothing can be took. They would have to try to go to court for that, but even then, with the will and everything secured and signed, stamped, and sealed, guess what? The case will be thrown out because things would be done properly. So I'm paying $5,000 next year for those things to definitely happen, because if those things don't happen, and if there's no proof of saying that you own a house, guess what? Mom passes, my sister can just easily take that. And I know what would happen. That house, they will end up losing, because the IRS will get, wind very quick, because the IRS already knows that they're there. Like I said, they don't like paying their dues. That's why they keep moving so much. But that happens, guess what? They'll liquidate the house, vehicles, everything in that house, belongings will be, organized through, put up for auction, just to pay those debts off. So that doesn't need to happen, That's why I'm paying $5,000 next year, just to make sure that doesn't happen, as well as chilling out a little bit extra money on top of that, just to get printed copies made to make sure everything's there. You're gonna have to, you really are. So it's ridiculous, because my father's family never made sure that me and mom was good or straight. Even when my dad was around, they didn't give a shit about us. They didn't care about all 3 of us. And then when they just didn't care. They never gave a fuck, Then once my father passed, they still didn't give a shit. They didn't give a shit. No. Same thing with my sister. I don't need them in my life. You weren't around then, you ain't around now, so why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Why are you here? Because me and mom, yeah, we are in debt. And I'm trying to get us out of debt before it goes any further, because guess what? It's not my mom's job, who's 65 years old, to take care of a family of 5 250-year-olds and 3 20-year-olds. It ain't my job as a 33-year-old man to take care of a family of 5 with 2 50-year-olds and 3 20-year-olds. You know, they both work separately. Like I said, you know, separately their checks are good. So their checks are worth way more me than mom's. Even put together, still worth more. If it's money that they need, you got 3 kids. You know, my oldest niece, you can get her signed up for disability. Boom, there's money right there. You got 2 other kids that are capable of working. Have them go get jobs. You know, have them go get jobs. If that is the problem, you got 3 fucking kids who can get off their ass and earn a living. Earn a fucking living. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't helped out with not one fucking expense. Not one. Nothing. Oh, well, we helped out with food. Yeah, I bet you eat in one fucking damn day's time. That's why they're so obese. They will end up dying of heart attacks. Can't say I'm gonna feel sorry about it though. You know what I'm saying? But today is just not a good day, man. You know, the second anniversary of my dad's passing, and I take a look back, nothing good came from that except for keeping the house and stuff. And even though mom gave him dad's car because she felt bad, but look what they did. Like I said before, they traded that in just to, there's no point for why they traded in, but they traded it in for 2 used vehicles from 2018. That car was worth so much money, it was enough money for them to own 2 used vehicles and still money left over to negotiate to them to get a place of their own. But like I keep saying, they settled on $300, a 3 with 2 0. Wow. And then they rubbed it in mom's face in plain sight, making her feel bad that, oh, we got new cars and you don't. Your car's in the shop because I trashed it. You know, that's what my sister did. And they didn't want to help her with a rental car. It cost $25 to get a rental car off the lot. I had to sell my stuff just to make sure mom was able to get a rental car. They didn't help her out with that. And the rental car she got was an updated model from this year. It was a nice fucking car. And then they wanted to talk shit underneath their breath about that. They wanted to talk shit about that. And then, like I said, I do believe there was an argument behind closed doors about that situation. Because they acted like they acted like they got those cars on their own. No, they didn't. If it wasn't for mom's helping you trading my father's car, you wouldn't have got those things in the first fucking place. You know, it's not, my mom sees that my sister's full of shit, a liar, a bully, starts arguments with people, you know, but still, I just wish at the end my father was here to handle this, man. At times I do, because I've been holding this in for a long time, because I got a lot to lose. I do. But not being able to get that closure, that's what hurts the most. That's what hurts the most. That being said, I'm out. Peace.